Hi there. It's March 24th, and we're continuing our journey through Torah. We're in the book of Deuteronomy now, which in Hebrew is called Devarim, meaning words, because it's the words of Moses spoken to the next generation of the people of Israel who are about to go in and possess the land. Moses describes how they start off their journey. God says to them, you've been going long enough around this mountain, the beginning of chapter 2. It says, now you're going to move towards your inheritance. And so they first of all encounter the land of the peoples of Edom or Esau and of Moab. And God says to them, don't conquer these lands, don't try and take their territory. You can trade with them, but you're going to be bypassing this because this isn't where your inheritance is. They're going to do the same to Sihon, king of Heshbon, and Og, king of Bashan, but Sihon resists them and says that they won't pass through, and therefore both Sihon and Og are both conquered and taken and removed from the land, and all of their people and their lands are taken into the inheritance of Israel. And as we saw at the end of the book of Numbers, these lands are then transferred to the tribes of Reuben and Gad and the half-tribe of Manasseh, and they become their inheritance. So it's as though Moses perhaps is going over this again to remind the people who are going to cross over, that these 2.5 tribes who've decided to stay on the east of Jordan are still part of them, and actually their men of war are going to go with them across the Jordan to take Canaan, the promised land. One thing that's worth noting here is that Moses tells them that it's going to be the Lord who fights for them. It's going to be the Lord who does this. And he says, don't be afraid of the tribes, because just like you've overcome Sihon and Og, by the way, has that famous long bed. He's the 9 cubits long bed and the 4 cubits wide bed. He's a giant of a man. But just as they've overcome these people who've stood against them, so Moses says they will go into the land and they will conquer in the same way. Just at the end of chapter 3, there's a very poignant moment where Moses appeals to God and says, God, can't I go into this promised land? Can I not go and see the beauties of the land and Lebanon and all that you've prepared for us? And God says, no, enough of that. I've made my decision. But you can go up onto Mount Pisgah, which is overlooking the land, overlooking the south part of the land, and you can see what I have before you. You can just, from the top of Pisgah, you can just see in the distance the palms of Jericho and what the land is going to be like. So rather sadly, Moses gets that view, gets that look into the land, but he's not allowed to go into the land himself. The great news for us is we don't have to fight battles. We don't have to get involved in killing people in order to gain our inheritance. Our inheritance has been gained through Jesus, but there is an inheritance to claim. There is an inheritance to receive, and that is the kingdom of God that is coming, the kingship of God coming into our lives and changing things around and making a new king, Jesus, the center of our lives. Have a very good March the 24th.